Listen, I'm taking it all the way back home for this one. If you want something rich, tender, and packed with island flavor, this recipe is the one. In this video, we're making oxtail, VI style. Now let's go. We starting with 3.5 pounds of oxtail, and the first thing I always do is trim off the excess fat. Next it's time to clean them up. I give them a good rinse with vinegar, just like we do back home. That vinegar not only help clean up the meat, but it also freshen it up, cutting any raw smell. Now it's time to start seasoning. To my seasoned blender, I added 2 teaspoons of black peppercorn, a half a tablespoon of dried thyme, and 1 tablespoon of allspice berries. I start blending everything up until it's nice and fine. This combination right here, straight island flavor. I started seasoning the oxtail with 1 tablespoon of salt, a half a tablespoon of onion powder, a half a tablespoon of garlic powder, and that fresh seasoned blend we just made. Don't be shy now, make sure every piece get coated. I like to use my hands for this part, man, cause the season sticks better and you get to really walk into the meat. That's love right there. Man, look at this. Then I cover the bowl with plastic wrap and pop it in the fridge, man. You can let it sit for at least 1 hour, but overnight is best. While that's marinating, I start prepping my fresh ingredients. Grab 1 red bell pepper, slice off the sides nice and clean, and slice those into strips and dice them up fine. That sweetness from the pepper is gonna balance out the richness of the meat. I grabbed 1 orange bell pepper and did the same thing. Now we've got a good mix of color and flavor. Next I grab a yellow onion, cut it right down in half, peel off the skin and chop it down. You already know onions are the backbone for any Caribbean stew. Then it was time for the garlic. I gave it a nice smash to loosen up the cloves, peeled 7 of them and diced them up real fine. Trust me, you ain't cooking no island food without garlic. Grab 1 potato, peel it smooth, then slice and dice into bite-sized chunks. This will soak up the stew's flavor and thicken up the sauce naturally. Make sure you don't dice them up too small. Then I peel and dice 1 large carrot. That little touch of sweetness and color is just what we need later on. Now we get to the fun part, cooking. I poured some oil in the pan and let it heat up until shimmering. Then I laid in those seasoned oxtails. That sizzle, that's the sound of goodness starting. I move them around to get every side brown up. Take a couple minutes doing this part. Make sure all the sides are nice and brown. We want to take our time searing the oxtail. Searing locks in flavor, so don't skip this step. Ooh wee, look at that oxtail. Once they were all brown, I removed them from the pot and set them aside. Now we build our base. Toss in those chopped onions and garlic, then add a splash of water to deglaze the pot, scraping up all that flavor from the bottom. That's called fun, and it's gold when you're stewing. I let that cook down for about 2 minutes until the onions were soft and the garlic was flagrant. Then add in a tablespoon of tomato paste. Let that cook out for another 2 minutes, giving it a nice dip. Then I add in the diced bell peppers and gave everything a good stir. The pot was colorful, aromatic. Everything started to come together now. Next I toss in the oxtail and start mixing everything around. Let me tell you, that smell coming from this pot is amazing. I covered the pot and let everything cook down for about 20 minutes. When I took the lid off, woo, the oxtail had already started rendering down some beautiful juices. I gave it a stir and everything looking right. When I'm cooking stews, I like to make sure before I add any water that the meat starts to cook in its own juices first. Then I poured in an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, Goya if we can find it, and add 2 tablespoons of browning. That's what gives the stew its deep color and rich taste. I like to add browning at this point so it don't burn too easy, and I like to make sure the meat cooked down in its juices first. Give it a thorough mix, and add in just enough warm water to cover the oxtails. At this point I sprinkle in a little salt to taste and add a couple sprigs of thyme and 2 bay leaves. Mix it up 1 more time and cover it. Now let it do its thing, low and slow. After an hour, I came back to check on it. Gave it a quick stir, everything was cooking down beautifully. Now it's time to cover it back up and check it in an hour. At about the 2.5 hour mark, I dropped in the diced carrots and potatoes. These go in last so they don't turn into mush. I let it cook just a little longer, and when I took that lid off for the final time, listen, the oxtails were falling off the bone. The sauce had thickened up nice, and the whole pot was busting with flavor. That's when you know it's done. Make sure you like, subscribe, and always remember, where there is a will, there is a way. Peace.